Hi guys, Dan Hendriksen here. I'm at Torquay Golf Club. I've come up for my hour's exercise and I thought I'd make my way up to the golf club. It's the first time I've been out here since the lockdown, and I wanted to have a little chat with you today about getting back into golf, how golf is going to look, how it will feel for you as golfers, and how we deal with it. This past week, the RNA have put in, I believe, a letter to the government indicating that they obviously want to try and get us back playing golf. They're looking at the sort of health reasons and things like that that are sort of related to the game of golf. But they've put together a framework, and this has been made up by all the unions, certainly in the UK based, where they've put together some guidelines for golf courses as to how they're going to be able to manage it by bringing the game of golf back to their golf courses. So I had a meeting yesterday with the managers of the golf club here, the sort of key areas of the golf course, where we talked about how we were going to, as a golf club, manage this potential move back into the game of golf. And every golf club will have now probably received this framework that's been set out by the golfing unions to help us sort of prepare ourselves to the sort of thought of being able to get back to golf, and also kind of how golf is going to be and what it's going to kind of look like for us when we get back here. Now, some of the things that I've kind of thought about from a head pro's point of view and my pro shop point of view is that, you know, I can't have too many people in the pro shop, so we're going to have to sort of stagger it out. No different to what we would see when we get into a supermarket. You know, I'm going to have to set the stall out where I maybe make a one-way system within my shop, hand sanitizers, things like that, maybe even a screen up by the actual the counter of the pro shop. Also, I've got to be mindful of the staff as well. You know, if Lester comes back to work or the other guys come back to work, I've got to be making sure that their health is absolutely at the forefront of all of this and making sure that they are safe in the environment that we set out for them. So possibly the plan that we've kind of talked about here is maybe making it more 2 balls, and we're going to sort of stagger the tee times where there'll be sort of maybe 15 to 20 minute gaps between each sort of tee time that goes out. The idea is that we don't want to try and make sure that we bunch up when we get around the golf course. Things like making sure that we've got a starter on the tee to ensure that people are obviously well aware of their guidelines, being making sure they're 2 meters apart, they can't touch the flags, the benches will probably be taken off the golf course. Those little things that we've already sort of done anyway leading up to the lockdown situation. So one of the other things that golf clubs I think are going to need from this are volunteers. Now, I've seen over the years that volunteers for like junior golf and even being just functions at the golf club, that volunteers have started to drop off a little bit. But I think the golf club now, your golf club certainly, is going to need help. It's going to need help because you got to think there's not going to be a great deal of money coming into the golf club other than the membership that's been paid. And it's going to cost a little bit of money to manage this situation. So if you've got some spare time on your hand and you want to volunteer your time, definitely worth speaking to the golf club about volunteering to do a little bit of marshalling, maybe even helping out on the first tee, those sorts of things. Even divoting the golf course. If you've got a little bit of spare time that helps that golf course repair itself, get itself ready for this, get yourself out there. Right, I'm going to head home now, and I want to have a little catch up with our Lester to see how he's getting on, but also to see his opinion on us coming back to the game of golf. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
I'm all right. It was a good little Sunday show yesterday.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Enjoy that?
I enjoy our little chats.
Our
Little
chats on putting.
Yeah.
So I went for a meeting yesterday with the managers of the golf club to talk about our sort of strategy about how we're going to get back to golf if the government allow us to come back.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your take on it?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I can see the health benefits of playing golf, and also the environment that we play golf in generally.
Yeah.
It can be one of the safest places to be a golf course. There's a lot of open space.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people on, in certain areas. So I can see the positives of playing golf, and we've done 6-7 weeks of lockdown.
Yeah.
And it is going to be one of the first sports to be allowed to restart as such. But I can also see issues and problems regarding getting people back on that golf course.
Yeah, I believe that the golf courses themselves, so the management of the golf club, so you and I, managing the situation, I see that as not a problem. I see that as golf clubs will just be able to deal with it. It's like anything else. It's just a slight shift, and we just, as a golf community, have to change the way in which we manage it.
Yeah.
My concern, though, and you know this as well as I do, is golfers themselves. Can they be trusted?
I'm just a little bit concerned, like you said, about people not adhering to the actual terms and conditions of being allowed to play golf. Whether it will you always get people push boundaries and push the line.
Yeah.
I mean, we get people break rules. The fact I used to, when I worked at Felston, 4 balls only. Like in this country, we've never allowed 5 and 6 balls. I've caught people on the golf course playing in 6 balls. Oh, we're playing foursomes. We're doing. No, you're not. I've seen you all hit a golf ball. You're not. Why are you lying?
Yeah.
And it's going to be so difficult to actually police that.
And I've seen, and you will have seen as well, I've seen on Twitter, golf greenkeepers and even people that are out doing their sort of 1 hour exercise, they've seen people on, I mean, even 2 days ago, I saw a video on Twitter where this guy had a debate, an argument with this guy who was out with, looked like his son or whatever, playing golf. The guy wasn't even a member of the golf club. He was on private land playing golf. And people, this is the problem, isn't it? As soon as it opens up, people will try their hardest to bend the rules. And it only takes one person or one golf club to, and it won't be the golf club's fault as such, but it'll be one group that will mess it up.
99.9% of golfers are brilliant.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I've had 20. I'm trying to get older now. 26 years working around golf clubs and golf shops, and it just things like when it's foggy and you go and close that golf course, and you get comments from intelligent people who are more intelligent than me, who say stuff like, "Well, if we're the only ones out there, what problem can we cause?"
Yeah.
And they want to play. You can't see 10 yards in front of you.
Because
and it's just, I don't want it to come across that we're being negative. We're just trying to put both sides.
Yeah.
I'm undecided personally. I want everything to. In an ideal situation, we'd have a vaccine for this horrendous virus, and we would be completely eradicated of it before. But that could take 2 years.
Take a long time. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm no expert.
Yeah.
So I do feel like we need to get back playing and doing stuff, but I'm just concerned that we may be doing that too soon. And also with like what you've brought up a minute ago with other golfers and them showing the same amount of care as everybody.
And then the other thing that I wanted to speak to you about is, like, on the news, I've seen Sky Sports and BBC's and things like that, where they're talking about the football season coming back, but also but away from football and more into golf. What does golf look like with no crowds? What's your kind of thought on it?
I mean, some people would probably remember sort of Tiger era into the late 80s. Some of our older, slightly more experienced viewers.
Yeah. More mature.
They would probably remember European Tour events with, 15, 20 people watching. I mean, some of the sort of the less developed parts of the world, you will have tournaments that are sanctioned PGA or European PGA sanctioned events.
Yeah.
that will have like a handful of people watching. You won't see spectators because it's not an area where they're necessarily into golf or golf's an elitist sport. It's for the rich, whereas we've opened it up in this country. I think now. So there will be events that are played in remote areas where there's not spectators.
I think the commentators are going to play the big part of this, because if golf closes itself down to spectators, obviously we won't get that atmosphere that you feel when you hear a roar around a golf course on the TV. The commentators are going to have to play a massive part in making sure that they keep us entertained with it. And
just a sidetrack from that, one of it's not really a sport, they call it sports entertainment, but the wrestling, so like WWE and the AEW, which is two of the biggest American companies, they've continued to film tapings. So they've obviously pre-record it, and matches and the interviews and everything like that. They've pre-recorded that in completely empty arenas. It's weird. Like, it's not got that same buzz. No fans. Yeah. It's completely. There's no reaction to what they're saying and what's happening. It's strange. Like, it's been going on since the lockdown. They've just decided to go ahead and do it. Yeah. And they filmed WrestleMania, which is, you get 80,000 people in the stadium, you'd get millions of people watching it at home.
And then, so was it?
In an empty arena.
And it's being aired.
It's being aired, yeah.
And what is it as a fan of it then? What does that feel like to you?
It's strange, honestly. It's
good, bad, or?
I mean, it's good in a way that it's carrying on because it gives you something to watch. So that I watch it weekends and stream it and stuff. But it's different. It's not. I guess with golf, there's ways around it. I mean, the cameras, you can be on a tower, can't you? So you can self-isolate on a tower. The commentators could generally be at home, couldn't they?
Yeah. But also, I think the players might have to play a part in this as well. As in, because some of the players are, that they're going to have to show their characters maybe a fraction more as well in it. Do you know what I mean? I know that's going to be difficult because how do you interview someone? I suppose you could still interview someone on a boom pole with like a chat with them, but maybe even talking to them in between shots and stuff like that. You can mic them up. What about instead of it being like big tournaments? Because I also see that travelling around Europe on the European tour and around the world, that's going to be an issue. What about having like the Shell's Wonderful World sort of thing? Do you know what I mean? Where you're getting more one-on-one, or like what we do in our course vlogs, that it becomes maybe more course vloggy rather than actual tournament. I mean,
I've not thought of that, but that's a great idea. It might even show a different side to golf, a less serious side.
Yeah. And get the banter and all that.
Yeah, it might also show that there's other games other than 72-hole stroke play. I mean, you can play, you can play all sorts of stuff, couldn't you? You can play, you could show foursomes. I know we see a bit in the Ryder Cup. You can play a 4-ball competition. Yeah. You could do all sorts, couldn't you?
Yeah. There's loads of different things, and like I say, I think it hopefully it would draw out people's characters, and I think that's quite important. At the end of the day, these people are watching golf to be entertained and watch good golf and things like that. But if we can bring another element to it, as in bring their characters out, I think it would. Yeah, absolutely.
People want to know. I mean, I think personally that's why certain vlogs are successful. People generally would rather watch a vlog us playing golf than they would maybe us just chatting like we are.
Yeah.
Because you see a side of somebody on the golf course, then you see different sides. Yeah. So maybe that could get a different audience.
Yeah.
I know that people that watch certain videos, when we were with Mark doing I had people that came up to me and say, I don't even like golf, but I enjoy watching you guys chatting. The banter was what made it. So maybe, I don't know, that will bring a different audience.
It might just be another element that they could probably tap into along the way. At the end of the day, it works. I think it's worked well on YouTube. You could bring that into mainstream TV or mainstream media stuff, and maybe that would be exhibition kind of matches, aren't they? So it's going back to the old ways of doing it. A lot of exhibition matches and watching that and bringing the characters out, and I think it could be good. It could actually change golf a little bit in a different direction, but it actually might still be a good thing. Anyway, right, I'll leave you in peace, but thank you very much for your time, mate, and stay safe. Stay safe, and also I hope we're back playing golf shortly, all right?
Yeah, me too.
Cheers, bud. So good to have a little chat there with Lester and get his sort of ideas. I think it's quite nice to sit down with people and chat over what the sort of idea is going to look like when we all get out to play golf again, and how we're going to also view it on TV. I think that's another important part that we discussed. At the end of the day, the game of golf has been through many ups and downs, and it's changed massively over the years from when they first started playing the game. It's evolved, the rules have changed, people that play the game have changed, and this is just another little speed bump in its way. And ultimately, the way in which we play the game, the way in which we spectate the game will evolve as well. I see this as a fantastic opportunity for us to get ourselves back out onto the golf course as soon as we possibly can. But ultimately, we've got a responsibility ourselves to ensure that we protect ourselves, number one, we protect the people around us, we follow the guidelines and keep ourselves playing golf.